fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. I'm Frank Perez alongside my co-host Oklahoma Brian. You can find us on Facebook.com /Fifth Street Sports Talk, on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports, also on the web at fifthstreetsports.com. Well, it's good to be back after the weekend. We had a very interesting week, Brian. And
yeah. I'll tell you, Frank, I'm just looking at the set here for the first time. You look really lonely with all those empty seats next to you. Could we maybe spring for some extras to sit in those empty seats?
Well, I didn't want to, I kind of sat here because I've been on this program for 75 days and I'm tucking my shirt in. I've actually lost 20 pounds. Now I just wanted
you
to
look
tell,
great.
Yeah, and I actually just wanted to tell like all the folks and you that, like in October's my birthday, and there's no pressure, but I'm a 40 regular now. But seriously, we got a great show after following some of the fundamentals that we did last week, and some of the as we went through with all the folks about teasers, and then your brilliant strategy on the betting the Grand Salami in baseball under, which worked brilliantly.
It'll be good for another 3 or 4 days too.
3 or 4 days. Went 5-1 last week since we talked about it on Monday. Also, on the segments we were going to do today, the first one was going to be, we're going to recap some of the stuff from last week, some of the selections we made, but all the fundamentals we went through. The second one was on teasers, and then your strategy, anti-teasers. And then segment 3, the brilliant insight that you just got this week in New Jersey, how they are tossing players from the winning players from the casinos. What do you think about that?
Predictable, in a word. I think we saw it coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But, I was going to ask, well, when we come back from our break over here, well, we're going to take a short break over here. We got to pay our bills, even though we're doing better. As you can see, the boss, we have Perrier now. We'll be back real shortly.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares. Once you've made that decision to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare, guaranteed. We guaranteed to get rid of your timeshare payments permanently. Even if you've tried another company to get rid of your expensive timeshare, call now and see if we can help you. At Resort Release, you don't pay anything until you're ready. If you're ready to learn how to permanently get rid of your costly timeshare, make this complimentary free call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez alongside my co-host Oklahoma Brian, and we just introduced the show on the last segment. And today, Brian, let's kind of go through some of the things that we shared with all of the folks last week. Starting with your baseball.
Yeah. Starting with the baseball. So last week we threw out a bet that we thought was going to be a profitable bet over the final 10 days of August. And that bet was the Grand Salami under, right? The Grand Salami is simply an aggregate bet on all of the runs that will be scored in all of Major League Baseball for any one calendar day. So that number is a function of the number of games and what those totals are. I think today what was the salami today, Frank? Around 63 and a half?
Yeah, 63 and a half. Now, I added the total runs. It came to about 60 because there's only, I believe, 7 games. So, yeah, today it's 63 and a half. You still like it under, right?
Oh, I do like it under. I like it under from this point all the way up until September 1st when we get to the expanded rosters. And there'll still be some opportunities to bet a lot of teams under, but we get to the expanded rosters, we get AA and AAA pitchers, and you really have such a heightened risk of, having one guy give up 8 innings or 8 runs in a half inning. But for right now, we have all of the great ingredients we need for a great run in the Grand Salami. We've got an amazing amount of teams that are in playoff contention. I mean, National League in particular, it seems like, almost everybody but the Mets and the Reds almost that's competing for a playoff spot, right?
Right.
And we've got warm weather, but not quite as warm as it usually is this time of year. It's relatively speaking a little bit cooler. We've got bullpens that have not been taxed in a way that they frequently are this late in the year. And you throw in just a kind of what I would describe as a fairly, continuation of another under year. This is a pretty good spot. You also have a lot of veteran pitchers, guys like Bartolo Colon, who might not get another start once we get to September 1st. Teams are going to want to see what the young guys can do. So a lot of these guys in their late 30s into their 40s, this is their last chance to show what they can do as a starter, and they're not going to leave anything behind. They're going to use every ounce of effort they have. So I like it. I like the salami, and we're going to keep betting it for the next few days.
Well, last week, since you brought it up and you mentioned on the show, it went 5-1. We got 4 more days. So by Friday or Saturday, we'll see how we did for the 10 days. Now, also on last week, we talked about that one game we really liked with the Jacksonville. Remember, we told you that they love week 3. They're 7-0. They really like to bust out that defense in the third week, and we got lucky there. Well, not lucky. We just we did good. With the 17-6, exactly as we thought. Of course, we lost. We lost with our UFC fighter. He lost in a decision. Semi-controversial decision.
The preseason football is so unlike any other form of football. I feel like it's a great way to make money. It can also create some really bad habits. But I'm always amazed at when I hear gamblers say, "Well, I would never bet the preseason." How stupid do you have to be to bet the preseason? Yet, at the same time, I see bookmakers that say, "I would never let anybody get real limits on the preseason."
Right.
So someone has to have an edge. You can't have both the bettors and the bookmakers afraid. No, there's an edge, and the edge is for the bettor. It's just a different type of handicapping. We're handicapping some elements that aren't quite as emphasized during the regular season. Right. Psychology is huge. Simply just being on top of what the coach's intentions are, knowing the history of the coach. But if you look at these big moves last week, they all won, and it didn't matter what line you laid. And that's a bad habit for the most part. But in the preseason, get used to identifying the right side, betting that side, and laying a bad number if you have to. I'd rather lay a bad number on the right side in the preseason than take a value number on the other side.
Right, like I know during the regular season with the efficient NFL markets, if a game's 2.5 and it moves to 3.5, for sure. I mean, I've known you for like 12 or 15 years now. You'd be totally, you're not going through that 3. Where in the preseason you say just don't worry about that too much, right?
That's right. You can already see for next week. You can see the signs of the games that look to be right. You can see the Dolphins getting bet, right, which is also fading that same Atlanta team that you did in week 3. The Browns clearly look like they're right. You can see them getting bet already. Baltimore Ravens getting bet. I mean, there's no secret to this. You can see what the right sides are.
I saw Atlanta getting hammered this morning, -3. What's that game? You got the line service? What's that game right now?
It's a pick 'em now. I think you might have seen I think what happened was that was about the 4th game that was bet from this group. And I think you might have seen a fake on the. I think
I'm so glad I'm so glad that I didn't bite on that one. I really felt the fake because how could Atlanta be laying 3, right? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah. It's down to a pick 'em now, and I suspect it'll be like the Arizona game last week, where you'll see it probably go through pick 'em and all the way to Miami -1 or 2 by game time, and it won't matter whether you took 1 or laid 1. Probably won't be a close game. Week 4 is notoriously not close.
Well,
the least close of the 4 games in the preseason.
You know what I noticed on this week in week 4. Okay, week 1 started with very low totals and a lot of them went over. Week 2, they adjusted way too high. They went from 35s and 34s to 43s, and that one about split. Last week was average but shaded towards over. This week, bam, they all open up 34.5, 35.5. Why do you think the last week of preseason, that big adjustment towards the lines going under again?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion behind the curtains. The league trying to, they all agree on one hand that they have to do something about the, rapid increase in concussions and the resulting lawsuits that come from those. But at the same time, trying to not kill the continuity of the game with, flags that make the game unwatchable. So week 1 of the preseason was a point of emphasis. They told the referees, throw a flag, even if you're not sure. When in doubt, throw the flag. We could always review it, take it back. we're starting to see now, I think, what's going to be closer to what we'll see in the regular season, which is still a little more flags than what we saw last year, but nothing like week 1 of the preseason.
Right. Speaking of all the fundamentals and some of the tools that we've been sharing with all of our folks, since we started last week with all of the things, teasers, money lines, everything. Tomorrow's guest that we have on is Waz. He is one of the co-founders of the website Bettor IQ. Now that one's going to be really big. Like when we start talking about that, it's going to give them. It's just another tool for all of our folks with stats, information, groundbreaking things, everything that we need on top of all the strategies that you and I have been sharing. There's just another one that you need. Also, Brian, what about the line service that we were going to start providing? Did you ever get with our people?
Let's hold off on that until that's ready to go. But yeah, we're talking with a line service who's going to be coming on board soon with a special promotion for Fifth Street Sports customers only, and we'll have them on the show in the near future also talking about their product.
That's great because we have some folks messaging in that because there's a lot of folks paying attention to all of the fundamentals and the tools that we've been sharing with them, and one of them asked about when you were going to get the line service up. So the line service for them with our special deal. I said let's just wait till probably next week. But anyways, we're getting ready to wrap up this first segment. So this has been Frank in Oklahoma. Brian will be right back in a few minutes with Fifth Street Sports. Was that a little?
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline SBU Nation Radio Network. I'm Frank Perez along with my co-host Oklahoma Brian. Now I'm actually looking into the right camera over here, so some of the folks I thought it was disconcerting. I actually was looking into the wrong spot, but now I think we got it. Anyway, so we're starting segment 2, Brian, and this one you've been waiting.
That's a fake. You were giving him a fake.
Hey, but you know what I was thinking about is, okay, this is segment 2 that you were really, really excited about. And, I know last week we talked about it and we're not hammering you, but you have the updated strategies on NFL teasers and anti-teasers. Teasers and anti-teasers. So let's share that.
Sure. Okay. So, I guess one question I get quite frequently is people know that I like to play teasers. Specifically, I like to play Wong teasers, which are really the only form of teasers that the player has an advantage. And that's a type of teaser that cuts through key numbers 3 and 7. And you're using essentially the teaser to kind of move across the board from across one key number into another. It's the only way to play that, combined with having good odds. But the question that comes up is, hey, Brian, would you tease in the first week? Or do I need to wait until the 4th, 5th, 6th week until the market has a chance to really evaluate these teams and have, a good number? And the answer, believe it or not, is I'm actually going to be teasing right out of the gate on a few games. I won't have a lot of games. The big determining factor, if I can tease, is if I have the ability to use open teasers. So, for example, like I know we were talking this morning and you mentioned a two-team teaser that you liked. It was a 2-team 7-point teaser, I think, at minus 140. And I was telling you, it's not that those aren't good prices. 7 points with 2 teams at minus 140 is it's a very small advantage to the player, but it's very, very small. In my opinion, that's kind of yesterday's teaser. The teaser that you should be focusing on as a player is trying to get, like, for example, with a 6-point teaser in 4 teams, we want to get plus 300. Plus 300 on 4 teams, 6 points. That's a great teaser. With 3 teams, we want to get plus 180. So think of, you can go all the way up the line with 5-point, 6-point teasers. It gets harder to memorize all of those, but using the 6-point teaser as your basis, remember these odds. 4 teams, we want plus 300. 3 teams, we want plus 180.
Right. And then, of course, going through those numbers that you talked about, the critical numbers.
Going through the numbers. And I think it's essential as a player that you go to your book early in the year. If you see that you're not getting those odds, and not only might you not be getting those odds, you might be getting substantially worse odds. And if that's the case, you need to say to your book, hey, I'd love to give you some teaser action, but I know I'm not getting fair odds. Do you want to give me fair odds, or do I need to find another place to play my teasers?
And once again, that was plus $1.80 on the 3-teamers and 3-1 on the 4-teamers.
That's right. Now, what do you think in New Jersey? What do you think? What do you think those guys at William Hill or Delaware? Or,
okay.
What do you think they pay on?
I don't know, but this morning, like when we were talking, we started laughing because if you actually mention how these people are, how they're robbing the folks back east on these teaser odds, like we may get in trouble with the SEC here, right?
I could see the FCC, finding us, because that would be so. It would be such a vulgar odds that we would have to read out. Well, I can only imagine.
Let's see. So now, like New Jersey, Delaware, and Philly, how bad are they robbing these people?
Well, I think you were telling me last week that they were making you lay was it 125 on both sides of a
No,
Canadian football game?
I forget. I think I was at dinner with no, at lunch with Waz and the guys, and they looked at one of the lines from the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and it was minus $1.50 on both sides of a Canadian football game. Now,
Ridiculous.
remember in Delaware, the first month they handled $6.9 million and held 14%, which is unheard of. 4 or 5% is average. You know.
I'd say good luck to them if they can keep their customer base that stupid over a long period of time. People don't know any better. What I suspect is going to happen is people are going to. It's just like poker, or anything else. People are going to eventually learn the game. They're going to realize they're getting screwed over by these odds, and they're going to look to play somewhere else. And if the quote unquote legitimate regulated industry doesn't want to come around and offer fair odds, then the public is simply going to go offshore and find a book that can not steal from them.
Yeah. Now now on the other thing. Okay, so we just talked about teasers and the prices you should look for. Now, what is this title? Like, I bet this has never been said on the radio or TV. Anti-teasers. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by anti-teaser is the following. Sometimes that's kind of a funny term, anti-teaser, because there is a teaser called a pleaser, which is the opposite of a teaser.
Right.
That's a play where you actually
lay 6 points.
Give away points.
Right.
Yeah, and for the most part, it's a sucker bet. Although there are situations where it can be a really good bet. We'll do a show on that some other day. What I mean by anti-teaser is in football, in the NFL in particular, sports books get so defensive and trying to prevent you from using the Wong teaser to your advantage that they will hang a number on a number that it wouldn't normally where it wouldn't normally be situated. That sounds like a really
no, but I know what you mean. Like
I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Like if the game's 7 or 7.5, right?
Let's even use 8. Okay. Let's say the Patriots are playing the Browns and at Cleveland, and they're an 8-point favorite. All right. Classic move in the Wong teaser is to take the Patriots and bet them from -8 down to -2. Okay.
Right.
That's a Wong teaser. It's great use of, although of the 4 subsets of teasers, it's actually road favorites the weakest, but nevertheless, it's a good teaser move for the player. The book, anticipating, particularly on a primetime game at night, anticipating that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to come in and try to tease this game, the book is going to get sneaky. Instead of hanging at 8 on the game, they're going to push the game up to 9 or 9.5, right? They push it up to 9, then those 6-point teasers are now laying 3, which is it's a great move for the house. Or if they make it a 9.5-point line, now all of a sudden your player is going to have to use a 7-point teaser, which is a way worse payoff, to get the game down to 2.5 in a teaser. So that's what I mean. It's like defensive driving for bookmakers. Right. They're going to try to take that game and they're going to put it just far enough outside of your reach so you can't use a Wong teaser. Another example might be a football game where the dog would be a 2.5-point dog. The teasing player, the smart teasing player, obviously is going to grab that 2.5 points and tease it up to 8.5. Your defensive driving, or your bookmaker who's trying to play defense, he says, "Hey, wait a minute. Let's not put that at 2.5. Let's push that down to 1 so that it can't be teased." Right? Now, if that happens, okay, he has prevented you from executing that Wong teaser, but he's also taken a game that should have been 2.5, and he's knocked it down to 1. Worst case scenario, you're going to get -120 on the money line if you buy a half point. Most likely, though, he's going to offer a money line of 115 to 117, 118. Now all of a sudden, you've got great value on the other side that only exists because your bookmaker's trying to implement this defensive strategy.
Right, so he can play defense against the Wong, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now,
those are great opportunities.
And then more critical, you mentioned the anti-Wong on the 9.5, take it up to a 10, right?
Oh yeah. So let's say that the bookmaker puts this game at a 9.5, trying to keep the game out of arm's reach for the teasers. Now all of a sudden, you're buying from 9.5 to 10. You got 10 lay 20. If it's a reduced juice out, you're even laying 10 lay 15.
Right.
It's a great bet. It wasn't the set you were going to bet. It wasn't the side you were going to bet originally with the Wong, but he's just gift wrapped a great value on the other side.
Right.
You being the smart player, you're going to take it.
Who
was that? No.
Pinnacle and 5 Dimes. Remember that they were
they
were getting so beat on these Wongs getting through those numbers that a game that was 7.5, they just made it 9 or 9.5. But then they forgot you can play anti-teasers, folks. Anti-teasers when they put up that 9 or 9.5, so that they won't let you tease down through those critical numbers. You just you buy the game up to a 10.
Now you're right. In the case of Pinnacle, they would also move their juice though, so they might be using like 9 dog a quarter. Right. So it's less. You can't do this as well at Pinnacle. Ironically, even though Pinnacle is the reduced juice out, you can't do this as well at Pinnacle as you can a standard minus 110 shop.
Yeah, they're just of course Pinnacle's way too sharp, but Doug, you're right. Well, we're getting ready to wrap this up. We'll be back in just a few minutes here, about 3 minutes, and then Brian, we're going to touch on. You were saying about the New Jersey tossing players out. So this is Fifth Street Sports. We'll be back in a few minutes. Join us.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
I noticed my neighbor place a broken lawn chair by his curb. Naturally, I repaired it on the spot using JB Weld Original Cold Weld Formula Epoxy, then took off my shirt and laid down to enjoy the sun. When the family came home and saw a guy sunning himself on their lawn, they yelled, "Hey you, get out of our yard." But I know their hearts were yelling, "We were idiots for throwing that lawn chair away. Thanks for teaching us about conservation." Don't toss it, JB Weld it.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. My co-host Oklahoma Brian, and I'm Frank Perez. We are on our another segment here today. This one we titled "Getting Tossed as a Winning Bettor in New Jersey." Brian, you got some good info on that. They're already got these guys on the radar, and they're tossing them out just like they do on the offshores, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. But by the way, Frank, I noticed you have a guest, looks like, to your left in the studio here.
I do.
Who is that?
That we got Chris. Chris is here.
No,
One
on the yellow chair.
Oh, she's crazy about me. Oh, that's Juniper. She's absolutely crazy about me. Like if I move my phone, she'll try to come over here. But that's Juniper. That's our mascot. But we also have on the couch that you can't see, we have our resident Chris, and then of course the boss here, Mr. Nick Gieber. There she is. There's Juniper, most beautiful cat on the planet. But anyway, so let's get back to this. So now they're already. How could they be tossing out winners with these horrible lines that they have?
It really is disgusting, and I hope this is going to be a significant PR issue for the industry going forward. If you remember back to the early days of the offshore industry, like 20 years ago, and how the industry evolved, we didn't have places like Fifth Street Sports or other, media that covered it to this extent. We relied on message boards, right? Everybody was on message boards, and it was a really dirty thing if you would throw players out, if you wouldn't take action from all players. And it's funny how, as an industry, we've evolved to where you can just be completely open by the fact that I'm going to take a bet from that guy, but not that guy. But then we'll take a bet from that guy. Essentially, all the dead money is welcome to bet all they want. But if you have a clue, you're not welcome.
Oh, exactly. I used to think about it as like if you're at Best Buy and that's your product. So you have a 64-inch TV for $995, and 65-inch for $995. He can buy it. You can't buy it. But that's your product. How come I can't buy your product?
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Yeah, this issue comes up all of the time when people I end up in a conversation with people and gambling comes up, and I usually dread those scenarios, at a Little League soccer game or PTA event. But, once the horse is out of the barn and we're talking about gambling, and people ask me, what is your philosophy? Should gambling be legalized or not? My answer is always the same, which is, that's up to each state and local jurisdiction to do what they think is right. But I think once you legalize sports betting, it should be available for all. Shouldn't be able to cherry pick among the stupidest people in the population and only take bets from them. There's no other industry that we would allow that to happen. And I think it's sickening, and I hope that it really impacts the bottom line of these operators that are doing this. And I hope that it drives customers offshore, because it should. And as a bettor, we hear this term legal, illegal. Folks, if you're a bettor, and didn't go to law school, didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn, but I am a avid consumer of news, and I've followed this industry for a long time. You have nothing to worry about as a player going off and posting offshore. Completely, it's your money. You could do whatever you want. And if I lived in one of these states, I guess it's neat to be able to, brag that you have legal sports betting in your state. But beyond that, I think you're a absolute fool to take inferior odds and have a sports book who's only looking for victims as players. I would take my action offshore, find a
Exactly.
book that could treat me right.
And then here's how you can tell that they're either state run or run by like corporate guys or sportsbook managers that are just they're either like scared or they all they care about is the bottom line. All of the sharp guys, let's say, and I know a lot of the offshore guys, they have a guy that's beating them in whatever sport, college basketball, whatever. They have $3,000 to $5,000 limits, and this guy's beating them. They never throw them out. They'll reduce their limits from, like, let's say 5,000 to 1,000 or 3,000 to 500, because at that point, that guy's working for them, because now when they because now when they bet. They bet out 10 or 20 times as much. But you never toss a winner out. You might reduce them, and then whatever he's betting, you watch the bets come in. You bet 5 times that much if he's a winner. But with they're not like the old school bookmakers and the guys that really, with a pencil behind their ear and actually took it on the chin. Those guys at minus $1.10 would just say, just put the money in the square, Sonny. I'll never forget Gene Mayday from Little Caesars. I think I was 23 years old waiting to bet my $40 3-team parlay, and I was behind a big Texan guy. And, I was just a little kid. I was trying to win $300. This big Texan guy pulls up to this Little Caesars that was a real dump right next to Bally's. And the Texan, the Cowboys were playing the Redskins. This guy says, if I want to bet $44,000 on the Cowboys, are you going to take it? Gene Mayday was sitting behind the chair. He was a heavy set guy. He just said, just put it in there was a little square. He said, just put it in the square, Sonny. So the guy took out, the 44. Just put it in the square at minus $1.10. Hand wrote him a ticket. And he was on your way. One of my partners here, Chris, I mean, he battles with this all over the strip. You try to bet $3,000 or $4,000 on one of these games. The next thing you know, you have to go through, especially like at the Win in these places. You'll have 3 guys come up to you in suit and ties, checking it out. Oh, yeah. He wants to bet 4. 3 guys from behind the scenes come out in a suit and tie trying to analyze a $4,000 bet on a major sport. It's a lot different than the old days in Vegas.
Yeah, and they're trying to use paperwork as an intimidation factor to try to get your DNA, to figure out who you are, under the impression that they're just trying to do their due diligence to comply with whatever regulatory laws they have. But no, they take it to an extra level, and the same thing is going to be happening in all of these states. And the bottom line is, we said this when the Supreme Court made the decision. We said it every month up until then. The thing with the legalized sports betting, yeah, it's another source of revenue for a lot of states, but it's not nearly the amount of revenue that the citizens were promised. And we're going to see that. We're going to continue to see that the revenue from sports betting it's going to underperform what anybody thought it was. The theoretical hold is much lower than state lotteries or scratch-off tickets or wherever else the state was trying to sell.
Exactly.
And
So we never have enough time to go through the things, but now so we shared about last week, and then we still got so now to our viewers, we have 4 more days of the salami under. Okay, that we got. We're gonna have this week. We're gonna have Waz on tomorrow from Betor IQ, which he's going to be a fabulous guest. Hopefully we can get him on every week, because if we have him on, let's say, for instance, every Tuesday, we can look forward to really great stuff. And I heard his website's going to be fantastic. And so we're going to be sharing that. Also, we have, we went through the fundamentals of the anti-teasers, which is huge because football's coming up, and we won't be talking about that and probably too much anymore throughout the year, unless some of your results. Also,
we might have the craziest Thursday betting day of the year coming up this Thursday, right? With all of these college games, plus the NFL has its final game of UPS drivers battling each other.
Yeah. And then this week, I think we're going to have maybe Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to have some really nice. We're doing our homework on a few games right now, trying to figure out where the sharp guys are coming in. Remember, Remember, folks, we don't do as much stat handicap and everybody else, but we get it from the top sources and the top people, which we're always going to try to share with you. We love going through the fundamentals because we don't want to just give you games and then you go out there and don't know what to do with them, or situations or profit ways, margins. So now what about, so it's the preseason. Now, do you use your teasers at all in the preseasons here in the fourth week?
Historically, I have. Not in the fourth week. Fourth week is just the games just have a little bit too much variance.
Right.
But I have used them in the past in weeks 3 and 2 somewhat. Ironically, though, a lot of bookmakers block off teasers from even working in the preseason. One thing I'd like to bring up, if we have time later this week, we'll explore the idea of second half betting early in the college football season. I think that's a really great opportunity for players.
Hey, that was a great point. And I was going to tell you about that. Remember that you gave out in the second half. Remember I think it was the Wyoming and the Hawaii game. You said whatever's happening in the first half, follow it in the second half. Go contrary of like the comeback.
Right.
You were 2-0 on that.
Wyoming and New Mexico State.
Yeah.
And if you watched even the first 2 minutes of that game, it was so obvious which team was dominating the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. That was Stevie Wonder could have bet that live betting, and he would have kept betting it over and over again until he got an error message that said you've bet all you're allowed to bet. That was
it was really funny because you said, now normally, like, let's say take the Colorado Hawaii game. That was a classic. I think Colorado closed at 17. They're losing by 9 or 10 at the half, right? And now, so they were laying 17 to start with. They're losing by 10, and they go minus 10.5 or 11 in the second half. Most people would say, like, well, they're going to come back. I mean, they were the better team. Sure enough, all the sides and totals, whatever happened in the first half, happened in the second half. Same way.
That's a great point. And I think as handicappers, like, the world we live in is so data oriented. We're being told big data this, data point, and we really are experiencing a quantitative revolution in terms of the way we handicap data, or we handicap sports. But there are still situations like the very first week of the year that are qualitative, not quantitative. In other words, you're watching the game and you have to make an assessment as to throw out the fact that that Colorado State was a 17.5 point favorite, or that Wyoming was only a 4-point favorite. I mean, if Wyoming played New Mexico State again tomorrow, I would suspect they'd be a 20-point favorite, and that's what they should have been at. Right. And that was obvious within the first minute or two of the game. We're going to see a lot of those in week one. If there's ever a week to have lots of TVs going and eyeballs on as many games as possible, week one is that week. It really is kind of a sports fans week as far as betting second halves, live betting. That's a part of. And let's face it, sports books can't watch every game,
right.
And neither can the sharp handicapping group. So.
Speaking of handicap
25
groups,
games going on at once.
Yeah, speaking of handicap groups, I saw 2 of them just to get started because tomorrow will be a lot more definite. They're coming in on the over in the Purdue game. I think it's Northwestern and Purdue over 50.5, and over in the USC UNLV 62.5. I think it's up to 64.5. But we always wait just to see how solid the info is. But listen, folks, we gotta wrap up this segment over here. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. By the way, we're doing better over here, Brian. As you can tell, the boss is providing Perrier now. Used to be Pierre water. Now it's Perrier water. So things are looking up. We'll be right back. This is Frank from Fifth Street Sports.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. One call to Wall and Associates, and your tax problems are solved. Wall has saved clients over $150 million in the last 5 years. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Remember, Wall has a proven track record with a total client savings over $150 million. Call now for your free face-to-face consultation. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Pedro Fernandez here. You might know me as the host of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, but this time I'm here to talk about that four-letter word everybody dreads. Pain! If you have back pain or knee pain like I do, hey, you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. I'm talking about if Medicare is your primary medical insurance, and guess what? You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. Anything to help me with the pain, hey, makes it more manageable, gets my attention, folks. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for your back, ankle, knee, or shoulder, guess what? Give the Health Alert Hotline a call, toll free, 1-800-428-1570. 1-800-428-1570. You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. 1-800-428-1570. The Health Alert Hotline, 1-800-428-1570.
Back to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. By the way, folks, you can find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, Twitter at Fifth Street Sports, and on the web at www.fifthstreetsports.com. Getting ready to wrap up this hour. I wanted to mention on tomorrow's show at 1 o'clock, we have, I wanted to talk about Waz is coming on the show, one of the co-founders of Betor IQ, which, remember, Brian, everything we've told everybody, fundamentals, systems, what to look for, guess, situation, strategies, have all been absolute top quality stuff. We would only, we just started this show, 6 or 8 days ago, and one of the things that we're going to write in our mission statement is that we only have 5-star guests, 5-star information. So we really respect this Waz. He's going to be on the show tomorrow. Also, what else we got planned pretty interesting this week? Oh, yeah, we're going to have some of your breakdowns for Thursday's game. They don't want to miss that show. But, boy, your anti-teaser thing, I don't think I've been driving around Vegas. I was even a delivery driver for 30 years. I've never seen a show with anti-teasers.
Yeah, it's like antimatter.
No, but it's like, anti-teasers. What are you talking about? But that's very good. So remember what we gathered today on that. When they take the game to 9 or 9.5 to prevent you from using that Wong strategy, you buy that up to the 10 if you can get it for $1.20, $1.25. And when the correct line is 7.5. Same thing on the 2.5 down to the 1. Take that money line because now they're playing games with the number because they're so scared of getting punished on these 6-point teasers.
Yeah. Another situation is when they keep the number at 3, but they move the juice. So you get like a 3-dog 50. Use that in your favor when that happens.
That's right. When you see that 3 go to 20, 30, 40, when it gets to 50, now, oh shoot, here I can hear that little man, the little music's coming on. The time goes so fast. I really enjoy, Oklahoma Brian and myself really enjoy always sharing and talking to you about the latest in sports, because one of our things is we are a sports equity network. But folks, we will see you tomorrow. We have Waz on. This is Frank and Oklahoma Brian from 5th Street Sports. See you tomorrow.
USA Radio News.
President Donald Trump on Monday expressed respect for the service of Senator John McCain, who died Saturday and then signed a proclamation to fly the flag